Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Stanford High's monthly news broadcast here on WGCH. I'm Sydney Rubin, here from Stanford High's online news site, The Roundtable, which you can view online at shsroundtable.com. You can catch us here on the second Thursday of every month, giving you a little window into the halls of Stanford High School. The first thing we have today is an interview with Shayna Druckman, the founder and president of Students Demand Action, a club at Stanford High that gives students the opportunity to make their voices heard regarding the issue of gun violence in schools and across the nation. Let's talk to Shayna to learn more about what her club does in the community.
Hi, I'm Shayna. I'm a senior at Stanford High School, and I'm the founder of Students Demand Action. Students Demand Action is an awareness club about gun violence, and we work to change the culture of gun violence in the country, but through legislative action and education and awareness and empowering the youth.
Great. So what events have you done in Stanford High School or outside Stanford High pertaining to gun violence and spreading awareness about gun legislation?
So the first thing we worked on was March for Our Lives, which was a rally created by some of the students at Parkland at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. And we helped to just kind of get students together who were going to speak at the rally. We then did a Wear Orange Day, which was gun violence awareness. We also did lots of work for the midterm elections because we were kind of learning about the importance of how legislative action and policy change will really help this issue, and that's the most effective way to help the issue of gun violence. So we did a lot of phone banking and canvassing for candidates who promised that they would work in Hartford and then on the federal level to enact this helpful policy on gun violence.
So Shayna, what do you guys have going forward planned for the club?
So now that the election is over, we are working on more the education side of gun violence. So we're going to kind of look at different communities and how not only does gun violence affect what we see on the news, like mass shootings, but also just there's at least 96 gun deaths per day in America. And all of those come from different communities, so urban communities and domestic violence situations and suicide and things like that. So we're going to learn about some statistics. I think a lot of students who are passionate about the issue of gun violence don't necessarily have all the facts down, but they want to get involved in some way. And I think having the knowledge of these different statistics and good points that they can bring up will just help them in debates and help them to move forward on action.
Thank you so much, Shayna. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shayna, for giving students the opportunity to get educated and stand up against gun violence. Next, we have an update on the Stanford students who participated in the Student Spaceflight Experiments program. Here is Cole Cahoon with 3 of the senior participants, Lalith Goli, Patrick Zaleski, and Graham Manchada.
After a year of the Mission 12 Student Spaceflight Experiment program taking place at Stanford High, students now soar high with NASA. The program gave students the enriching opportunity to create an experiment that would eventually go into space. However, NASA had very strict guidelines to follow. The experiment had to be fit into a small tube that the astronauts would cautiously shake for a couple of seconds at most. Coming up with an experiment that would both fit the requirements and stun NASA was an enormous task, but those 13 students persevered, producing 3 different experiments: the cultivation of yeast in microgravity, the effectiveness of acetylamide on carbonic anhydrase in microgravity, Sordaria femicola, the experiment of the 3 that was sent into space. Lalith Goli, a student taking part in the program, stated
Days before the deadline, my group came up with an amazing idea. We stayed up hours and hours and went to the library to work on the lab.
Their advisor, science teacher Susan Darty, and NASA helped throughout the process. From May to early June, the team finally received the materials they needed to begin preparing the Sordaria Fimicola experiment to be sent into space aboard the International Space Station. In late June, all three groups made a trip by train to the National Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C. to watch the experiment get launched into space. Patrick Zaleski also said,
"Getting our experiment back from NASA was an amazing experience. It's hard to think that we designed this project, it was done in space, and now it's in our hands."
The students still have to thoroughly analyze their experiment, but it was articulated that their goal was to get their work published.
My experience in the NASA program was overall good, although it was very tiring because we spent many nights staying up super late doing research and other things so we could put together our thesis for the competition.
Well, my experience with NASA, well, it began off pretty hard, working through, as Patrick said, a bunch of late nights and trying to figure out what we actually wanted to do. But once we got through that, created everything, following the guidelines for the procedure, after that, it was like a breeze. We got to go to so many different events, like a research conference in D.C. and like a poster showing at the University of Bridgeport. And in the end, it was definitely worth all the late nights.
Yeah, along with Patrick and Griffith said, of course it was hard at first just because it's a whole different thing. That's something that we've never experienced before. That's not even that school related, just like something that we wanted to do independently. It was just a great experience, and it's awesome having something that you've made, created, sent to the International Space Station.
Wow, what an incredible opportunity these students had. We will hear back from them soon after they are finished analyzing their data. Next, with the holiday season upon us, we have a message from the Stanford High Band Director, George Baradas, to tell us about the band's current holiday fundraiser.
Hi, my name is George Baradas. I'm the band director at Stanford High School. I want to talk to you a little bit about the Stanford High Christmas tree sale. Every year, and it has become tradition for the past at least 20 years, we sell Christmas trees, wreaths, and swags in the Stanford area. It's located at the back of Stanford High School in the student parking lot, where we sell balsam and Fraser Christmas trees from 3 to 15 feet tall, starting at $25 and going up from there. This is a very important fundraiser for the band because it is our biggest fundraiser, and this year we are traveling to Washington, D.C. to play a concert at the Lincoln Memorial at the end of May. So we are a fully inclusive and full servicing tree lot. We will put the tree on your car, help you pick it out, and it's overall a great Christmas and holiday experience.
Great.
Our hours are from Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 p.m., Saturday, Sunday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m.
And that's all we have for today, everybody. Thanks for listening to the Roundtable on WGCH. Be sure to check us out online at shsroundtable.com, and you can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I'm Sydney Rubin on WGCH. Thanks for listening and have a lovely day.